So you agree the natural Gentiles, they ain't gonna make it?
No, I said the natural Gentiles are going to make it. Jesus said they would.
No.
Okay, that's what we gotta clear up. What we trying to clear up is that those Gentiles that said they're gonna make it, we talking about Israelites that don't know.
We don't know. How do
these
we know
people-
they are the Israelites? Though?
By their spirit.
Because the Lord said that the salvation is only for Israel.
Okay, then I can agree with that. I can agree with that.
Go ahead.
Absolutely.
The
Have you
15,
ever
12.
heard of Hellenistic Jews before?
I can read that.
15, 12.
Hellenistic.
24,
You know what the
so
word
I can
Greek
say.
means? You know what the word Greek means in its natural form? It means Helen, right? So,
From their children, the
Hellenistic Jews. Hellenistic Jews are Jews that took on Greek customs. So that's how you get Gentiles, which are Israelites, taking on heathen customs.
Because
That's
what
okay,
What
I
do you-
agree with that.
yeah, because what he's
But
talking
that
about,
didn't have anything to do with what I was saying.
Yeah.
Before.
what he's talking about is if you look up the word, like there's a scripture that says there's no difference between a Jew and a Greek. If you look up that word Greek, there is Helen, and if you look that word Helen up, because somebody will say, oh, you see Greek, they're talking about white people, right? But if you look up the word,
almost goes into believing into different gods and whatnot. We're walking a weird fine edge now.
well, we just trying to
Because if
bring
we
you to the
believe in
light.
Helen, we got to start believing in all
No,
those
not Helen.
other
No,
ones.
No.
Helen is a
Yeah.
Helen.
Like
if you-
Hellenistic,
'cause-
Hellenization. It means you a Jew, but you speaking another language, a Greek-speaking Jew.
I got it. It's a word. It's if you look up the Greek, if you look up that word, like I
Like-
said, where it says there's no difference between a Jew and a Greek. People say, oh, you see, it says Greek. That means white people. But if you go to that word in the Greek, because if you translate
I
it,
understand. I see
that
where
word
you're
there
going.
in
But this
Greek
is
is
more
Helen.
man than scripture. This is man that has categorized that
well, they just it
by sheer
Well, when you
Convolution
get into
of
the
languages
when you get into the
and
etymology,
origin.
that's when
exactly.
you can understand.
and that makes it confusing to people who don't know the true background.
Right,
Adding in
right.
adding in extra words that categorize a whole sub belief and lifestyle of people starts to put it into a mosh pit of confusion.
But that's what English does, and that was purposely done. it's a bastard
Hence
language.
King
It's
James
it's
version.
confusion. No, the King James version got the Hebrew and Greek etymology words on the outside of the page. He broke it. He had set it up. Basic Bible for dummies.
But most
back
people
then.
didn't read that, and they didn't put two and two together. They just rode with it, and that's why they get it messed up.
well, that's why you got to do research,
Yeah.
like we doing. Like I'm gonna read it like same word.
Oh man, hey, I
Hold
would
up, hold
love
up,
to
hold
do
up.
this longer, guys.
Hold
But I
up.
gotta go.
Let us get at least these two for you.
Okay.
Okay.
So this is, you can break down. So the same book, right? If you look at the word Hellenist, right? It says Hellenists, Jews, Israelites, who made Greek their tongue, and with it often adopted Greek ideas and practices. And they give you a list of scriptures.
And can you
Now-
verbally say what Greek they're referring to, as in what you mean?
Yeah, the Greeks they referred to was the actual like Greeks at the time. You could say so-called white people. What they were doing was just like our people, right?
I was more asking. I wasn't.
No, you're fine. Like our people, our people will think that they're black. Our people think that they are
African American.
African American. They're into Islam. They'll shave the head bald, shave the beard, because they want to be like a so-called white man. You know, they walk to the customs of this world. You know, they thinking like this is how I'm supposed to do. Those the same thing back then. That's who the Lord came for, really, to teach them like, nah, brother, you're not black. All right, you're an Israelite.
Y'all got
Okay.
me missing trains.
Hey, I wanted to say real quick, you know, just for the edification of it, that you know, it'll be the same to make it clear to you. It'll be the same as how, like, you see how Chinese people or African people or whatever, they come to America, and when you ask them what are they say, oh, I'm American. And they, you know, they don't dress the same way they used to in their old country. They don't wear the garments of their old country. They don't, you know, speak the same language as their old country.
They've assimilated themselves to our
Yeah,
culture.
so that's what the scripture was talking about. Them Israelites who had been in Greece or wherever else, adopting that way of living instead of the laws, statutes, and commandments.
Thank you for
Some
that.
of them
That
couldn't
was-
even- some of
that
them
was
couldn't even speak
way
Hebrew.
Clearer. Thank you.
Yeah, Khan, they was looking at it
was
like an
much
embarrassment.
clearer.
Like
you broke it down
you don't-
better for me.
you
I
don't
understand
speak
now.
Hebrew, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got tattoos, you got like, they was tripping off of that back then. So that was the roughness between the Jews who knew they was Jews and the ones who had started living like other nations.
Like you got Mexicans who live in America, they can't even speak Spanish, but if they go to Mexico, they may say, "Hey, oh, amigo, ¿cómo estás?" And he may say, "Oh, I don't speak Spanish." They're gonna be like, "Oh, you're a Chicano." That's
Yeah,
a Chicano, meaning Americanized. You can't even speak your own language. They'll look at you different.
It's like if we go to Africa, hey, they fucking hate us.
Oh yeah. Well,
They
they-
don't look
they-
at
well,
us
they-
as
well,
one
they-
of them, even though the skin color is the same. They're like, you're not one of us.
Because they know we not.
Yeah.
Certain countries in Africa, our people, we are the same because 70 AD, that's a good history. If you get time, look it up. 78, what happened in 70 AD in Jerusalem? The Romans came and sacked Jerusalem, and so our people fled into the interior parts of Africa, blending in with people who looked like us, but we had two different customs. We did things totally different. We had two different spirits. Just like you're not gonna see an African Michael Jordan or African Mike Tyson or everything that's tight and litty, how they say, come out of these people right here. We the salt of the earth. We have everything popping, as they say.
I'll give you that. It's a website on there if you want to look up on it.
Scripture, Jacob is the former of all things. Everything come out of us. We invent everything. We got to set the best trends. Everybody do the dances that we do. Like everybody do whatever we do.
I'm agreeing with all of this.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
agree with, like, as a whole, yes, we are on the same accord. And,
I hope so.
And I am absolutely in agreement. I don't like how you process it. You break
Well-
it down better. Your interpretation of some things, and so is yours because you're with them, is different than mine. But in the end, yes.
Well, okay.
Same-
That was the
same
point.
mind.
So you could get it. That's
the point.
That's
Hey,
what we here for.
And the scripture says two is
Two heads and two are better than one.
two and better than one. Hey, we on the same page.
Yeah.
You know, maybe I just interpreted you wrong, but regardless, the scriptures came out. That's why we want to make sure the scriptures came out, because ultimately the scriptures is what's going to make sure
Exactly.
everything gets aligned. To
When
ensure
I
that
first read the
everything-
Bible, I read the NIV, and I was like, I think I got it. Then I read the NLT, and so that speaks a little bit how we talk,
Yeah.
and so I understood it. And right when I finished it, I went, I missed something, man. So I went back through. I'm like, God hates us? Nah. And so then I realized somehow, as the chosen ones, we are living under. We're living
That's
boot trodden.
that's
and
the
I'm like,
That's the
how
curses.
fuck
That's
did that
that's the
happen?
curses in
And the
Deuteronomy
curse-
28.
And so that's Deuteronomy was boring as shit. So was
No,
Numbers.
when you get to the 28th
Oh, no.
chapter, man, it's shit.
It starts
You can
to
see
pick up.
exactly why we in the conditions that we in,
It's not
and
boring.
But
can't
it's
get
like-
up out
I
of it.
understand, but so, and with that said though, should we stay the course? Should we still
Yeah,
hold so true to our fate being cursed?
Because we brought it on ourselves, man.
But this
It's
wasn't
just as
me.
a puni-
I didn't
Yeah.
do what Pharaoh
Yeah.
did. I didn't do what Ham did.
Our
Why
people
should
did
I
worse
be,
shit.
Why should,
Our
why
people
should
did
I have to
worse.
feel the effect?
You gotta
Cause-
think about what your forefathers did.
And guess
I
what?
don't care what they did.
guess what?
My life.
You is your forefather because you was here before.
You don't
You
know,
know
that.
what? Hey, so somebody should have told forefathers to stop wilding, cause hey,
That's
1,
what the
2,
prophet
3,
said.
4, 5,
Yeah.
6, 7,
That's what the
8.
prophet
hey,
said.
Hey,
The
so
Lord
many
said,
thousand years
they
later.
forget them, Father. They know not what they do. Like,
Ezra said you should have forbade Adam to sin for us to be in this damn hellhole, you know what I'm saying? But the Lord still has his hand stretched out. Trying to get,
You saw Edom,
you talking
no,
about
yeah, a little bit.
like just Esau Edom, so-called white man. Their forefathers condemned them already. So what they did, they finna basically the Lord finna recompense all their evil. Just like what the Lord did with Pharaoh, let Pharaoh do what he did for a long time, get enough evidence that's to destroy him.
Yeah, he gave Pharaoh many chances.
didn't
He gave him many chances, but hey, when you the king and you big dick swinging, he like, I don't give a fuck. I run this shit.
Yeah,
and
his
so he
pride
gotta
got
pay
up.
for it
But see, that's that pride.
3,000
yeah.
years later. Come on, man, that's not right.
But the reward is much greater than what we suffering right here. You
because
know where that
because God is a loving God. Because God is a merciful and forgiving God. Because He took so many manifestations in the Old Testament.
kingdom is
you know,
it's like
I don't like the
to the suffering that we're going through now.
Yahweh Shah God. I would rather have the Jehovah God, because hey, He was more loving than that version of God that was
see,
back
that's
then.
just what the heathen know. The Lord name as Jehovah means God of mischief or wickedness, because when He brought judgment on the heathens, it was always some terrible shit. But that's what they called Him. But what we call Him is Yahweh. He exists.
No,
He is.
these are many time periods apart. When He appeared, when He made Himself known earlier as Yahweh, as His true name, it would pass another 300 years before He would be known as Jehovah, and He would still love that name as well. They didn't make that up. He gave them that name. There's one more, but I can't remember.
No, He only
There was three.
The Lord gave His name. The pronunciation is different amongst, you could say.
Yeah, because there shouldn't even be a J. That probably should be an H or a
It
Y.
shouldn't be a J. There is no J. That's why we don't call Him Jesus. But we say it's pronounced Yahweh. We believe it by faith. Other people may say, no, it's Yahweh. We don't believe that. We
Yeah,
believe
that
it's
can't be
Yahweh.
right. I mean, that Yahweh can't be right.
Right.
Because their language wouldn't.
Right.
It goes against
Genesis
the.
chapter 2.
It goes against the
So check this
the
out. This is
syntax of how their synthesis and words were formed.
Right.
So this is-
You can't just throw that in the bag.
This is Isaiah 43 verse. I'm gonna start at 27. It says,
Y'all don't know.
it's talking about Israel.
Y'all don't know the
It
L
says-
I'm taking right now.
It says, thy first father have sinned, and thy teachers have transgressed against me. Therefore I have profaned the princes of the sanctuary, and have given Jacob to the curse and Israel to the reproaches. So the reason we're in this condition, the scriptures tell you the Most High is justified in everything that do. We could be born in this life and say, Lord, this isn't fair. I didn't deserve this. You know, why punish all of us? Little do we know the Lord,
She was mad.
the Lord was dealing with us.
They not liking y'all doing
He
this.
could have been, wiped us
They
out.
not liking it.
But
y'all.
he bare with us. Hey, scripture tell you in the wilderness, Jake just kept pushing the Lord, kept pushing him and kept pushing him. But the Lord still had mercy, and He brought Jake to the land. We don't know that our people are really hard-headed.
Hold on, before you go into that
wicked.
sentence, what was the point that you were making?
Point I was making. Come and read it again. It says,
No, don't read again. What's the point you're making?
Point
Why'd
I'm
you say
making
that?
is because you said that, pretty much it isn't fair that we have to suffer, because you said this guy hate us, right? That we have to suffer for what our ancestors did. And the truth is, the Lord had stretched out His arm to us millions of times. It's just we didn't listen. So He's justified in bringing the hell upon us. But now that we're born in this earth,
I don't
well,
hear
that's the
that.
truth.
So what happens when your parents tell you to do something and you don't do it? They're like, all right, I don't want to tell you again. All right, I ain't gonna tell you again. Then whack, you just get whacked out of nowhere.
Well enough, you get whacked out
That's
nowhere.
how the Lord
but
is.
that don't mean when my grandkids have a child, because my child did something, hey, my great grandchildren should get whacked before he even do it. Hey,
To the third
your
and fourth
great
generation.
grandfather
Oh,
did something
man.
ridiculous,
But
and so
see,
whack.
but see, you come back through your sons.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Every third, fourth generation, come back.
You know
and
what?
be
So you
born
gotta
back
You're
into the earth.
rationalizing not being given a fair shake.
How?
No, you don't
We
get
was
it.
given the advantages. The Lord gave us
Not-
the
certainly
blueprint on
not
what
us.
to do.
You're rationalizing why we should live in an oppressed society
Because
as
we got
our
to.
ethnicity.
To
yes,
get
we
to the
have
kingdom,
to,
to get-
but you don't have to
You want the kingdom
rationalize
or
it to
not?
make it make sense. You're rationalizing
It does
so
make
you can
sense.
accept it. You
No.
rationalize it so you can feel okay with living in a
So-
culture that doesn't.
Let me go.
So all the time that we would have the upper hand on the other nations, and the Lord came and
Irrelevant
fought
to
back.
today.
How? We
Get
fucked
that.
up, so we
Irrelevant
Get that.
to you and I.
Sirach chapter.
Not we. They fucked up.
Oh,
No, but you see, that's what, cause I see you read the scriptures, but it seems you haven't
If
grasped.
Ham had a
It
new
seems
2,500 years later
It seems-
that we be in projects with crack infested
we're not
neighborhoods,
ham. We're not ham.
maybe he wouldn't have did that.
We're not ham.
Ham
So
is
check this out.
Africans
Do
over
you
there
guys
with
know
flies on
where
their
I get on
eyeballs.
the bus for the Hollywood Casino?
I don't.
For the what casino?
Hollywood Casino. That's like 3
All right. So,
You want to Sirach
chapter, no, I'm sorry, Second Ezra chapter 2. My fault. So check this out. So for what it seems,
Be on your way.
for what it seems is, it seems, even though you read the scripture, you didn't comprehend the message, because just like Jeremiah, Ezekiel, Isaiah, all those prophets.
Wait a minute. I
Even
heard
though-
you said we're not from Ham. Then
I
then
broke it down
for
to you.
who
We're
are we from?
I told you.
We're from Shem?
We're from Shem.
That's bullshit.
I just broke it down. to
Ham
you.
was the only one that was supposed to be cursed under his brothers for the rest of his days. All of his descent, you're basically saying we're not from Africa. You're basically saying
We're not from Africa.
Listen, listen. I've already explained this to
where
you.
the fuck do we come
I've
from?
already explained
Israel.
this to you.
You said that.
Check
No,
this out.
what
I'm just gonna read the
geographical location?
Israel. This is Deuteronomy 30, verse
Then who
15. Okay, verse 15. Read it again.
this country?
It says, "See," it's talking about the Israelites. "See, I have set before these day life and good, death
Where
and
is
evil." Okay, life and good, death and evil.
Fucking black people
And
in
in
Israel.
and in that I command thee this day to love the Lord thy God, to walk in his ways, to keep his commandments and his statutes and his judgments, and that thou mayest
I don't
live
care.
and
Why the fuck
multiply,
aren't there any black
and the
people in
Lord
Israel?
God shall bless
How the fuck
thee.
did we get
'Cause
here?
we was cursed.
Answer that.
I could answer, but it seems
I
like
told you.
it seems like
70 AD.
You know,
We are
you're not gonna
Israelites.
read.
Why the hell then?
We fled into Africa. The Europeans at the time, the Esau, came to Africa and
we're
bought
basically the
us from
broken,
the Africans.
let me read this, huh?
people who
So it
fled
says,
there.
I
We
denounce
somehow adapted and our
I
skin
denounce-
became the same as the people who